Hi.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Mary and Jerry podcast. I'm Mary.
I'm Jerry. You know, that's totally not the introduction we're supposed to do.
I know. We're supposed to do
It's
this.
the Mary and Jerry podcast with Jerry
and Mary,
where we talk about
everything.
And bacon. Yeah. Okay. Clearly, we are not professionals.
We are not professionals, and we will get
not
it right.
Not even our producer can save us from ourselves.
No, he does such a good job, though.
That's right. Anyway.
So, hi, honey. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good?
I'm good.
How's your day? Day's been good?
Sure. I've avoided getting hit by a meteor. So it's a good day.
So just so the audience knows, right off to screen of the YouTube channel, there's a lovely, almost 2-year-old border collie named Maggie who is desperate to throw a ball right now.
Well, it's because Maggie's been in school for the last 2 weeks.
She has. She went to obedience school.
We're learning to dog.
Well, no, she knows how to dog now. Okay,
we're graduate level dog.
Okay, so when Maggie first started going to doggy daycare, because she's a border collie, and so they're supposedly the smartest breed.
Oh yeah,
and they have high energy. And
oh yeah.
Jerry and I are
Think of Albert Einstein as a toddler with 4 legs, and that's Maggie.
Wow, and we're about medium energy,
and not nearly as smart as the dog.
So we put her in puppy daycare so she can be around other dogs. Now, we never put our children in daycare, but we put our dog in daycare, so that tells you a lot.
So here we are.
Here we are.
You had
okay.
A plan.
So when she went to doggy daycare, she was all about the humans, like the people that were, the doggy daycare people. And she didn't know how to dog. She didn't know how to interact with other dogs.
She didn't know how to play with dogs. We did not know how to dog.
So she went to Dog 101.
How to play with puppies.
How to play with puppies. And she was in small group.
That's right. Our dog goes to small group. Okay, so let's share our highs and lows. What went well? What didn't this week?
The rose and the thorn.
Rose and the thorn. That's right. Small group for puppies.
And then she was finally graduated, and she went out into Gen Pop. So she got her
Gen Pop. That's right. Our dog graduated to general population.
She got her orange.
She went in the big house in Gen Pop.
And so she learned to deal with other dogs.
Not well all the time, because we're kind of a diva dog, right? You know what I'm talking about. They want all the love, all the attention. Kind of like somebody else I know.
Listen up, mister. She is a princess.
Sounds like somebody else I know. Go ahead.
But she doesn't wear tiaras as well as I do. Anyways, so after a few months of regular doggy daycare, boarding her when I had to go speak and we went on trips, she was now ready for obedience school.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like taking an overactive toddler and sending them off to military school.
Well, that's a good analogy.
Isn't it? That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. And who knew that doggy school had homework?
They have homework, y'all. Like, she comes home.
Like, you need to work with your dog. I'm like, people, it's 5:00. I don't even want to work with myself. I'm like, dog, let's go throw the Frisbee, and then we'll have supper, and then we'll throw the ball, and then we'll go to bed.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of 2 weeks of obedience school. She has 1 more week left. She's doing really well.
They have graduation where they get to wear a little cap?
They don't wear a cap, but they do have a little graduation.
They do have graduation.
And they have training for us.
Do we get treats?
We have to go in twice.
Like little bacon bits, right? You could teach me to do anything if you fed me little bacon bits.
Oh my God. Anyways, so we have graduation here at the end of next. Did you hear what I said?
You could teach me to do anything.
I did hear that. I'm just moving on because this
totally
is a
G-rated
show, Mister. G-rated.
And of course, if I had little chocolates.
Listen, one of our listeners was so gracious to say that this was one of the most wholesome podcasts she'd ever listened to. I don't know how we have tricked her into thinking that, but...
Well, I have refrained from using salty sailor language.
And we will continue to refrain from using salty sailor language.
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
And talking about things about what you're going to do for bacon bits. We're not going to talk about that either.
Can't talk about those bits.
Oh, my word. Anyways, so Maggie is in obedience school, which means that mommy and daddy, which I cannot believe that's what they call us because I'm not her mother.
You're not a dog mom?
They need lessons in biology. I'm just Maggie's owner.
I'm the alpha dog. Arr, arr, arr.
You just did that, didn't you?
I did. Alpha dog. I don't like to go, who let the dogs out?
Oh, boy.
Who. But enough about our dog. What is it you really wanted to come and talk to?
No, we were talking about our dog because I'm avoiding the other topic.
No, we need to talk
so
about
anyways,
the
she
other
has
topic.
graduation next week. So I'm thinking I should make her a doggy cake. They have doggy-friendly cakes. Did you know that?
Of course they do.
They have doggy-friendly cookies, too.
Of course they do.
And you know what Maggie will do for a cookie?
What'll I do for a cookie?
Why?
For a Klondike bar. I'll do some pretty sketchy stuff for a Klondike bar. I'm just saying.
This is not the direction.
Going off the rails. Totally going off the rails.
Dude, we're not even like 5 minutes into this and it's off the rails.
Well, the question's always asked, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I do some pretty sketchy stuff. And for a really nice BLT with the really thick cut tomatoes, I do some
what?
Questionable stuff.
We went from sketchy to questionable?
That's right.
To what? Illegal?
Now that you would have to have candied maple bacon on the BLT.
Oh my gosh.
Just saying.
Good to know, dear. So if we start getting, frozen maple bacon in the mail from people, they're going to expect things. What will Jerry do for bacon?
I might even sing Broadway show tunes.
Go ahead, sing.
I don't know any Broadway
yes,
show
you
tunes.
do.
That's
You
the
know
whole point.
one.
What?
Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
I do know a little bit of
Oklahoma.
Hamilton. Oklahoma, where the waving
Is
wheat.
It sure smells sweet
when the sun comes right behind the rain.
rain.
Okay,
and so
yeah,
we
whatever.
say,
Actually, you know what your
yow,
favorite musical is? We'll have
yeah.
an early newlywed thing. And it's your favorite musical.
No,
is?
that's. I know what my favorite musical
What's
is.
your favorite musical?
Seven Brides
Seven
for Seven
Brides
Brothers.
for Seven Brothers. It's sort of a autobiographical sketch set to music, right? Because I've seen how
What's
your brothers eat. It's much like that first scene in the cabin there.
Well, that's very true. But my favorite song is
Bless Your Beautiful
No, that's your
Hide
favorite
wherever.
song.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Bless Your Beautiful Hide. Mine is Going Courtin', Going Courtin'.
Yeah, that. Whatever. Anyway.
It's a great, who are the actors?
Howard Keel.
And
Jane Powell.
Jane Powell.
And a bunch of guys that were
When
in
she's
like
picking
every
up
freaking musical in the 1950s.
The opening scene after they've gotten married and she's picking up the sorrel for the soup because she thinks it's just the two of them going back to the cabin.
Yeah,
and
just
what
like
she
when I
doesn't
came
know,
to your house for the first time.
she doesn't know that there's 6 brothers.
No, I
waiting.
didn't either. It was not a pleasant experience.
You knew there were 6 brothers. I told you right away, first date.
Well, of course, they weren't, in alphabetical order. But anyway.
No. Oh, okay. So where are we here? So we've talked about the dog going to obedience school,
Talking
being a
about musicals,
princess.
Because
musicals.
what is this week, dear? Let's break it down. What is this week?
Well, it's a topic we sometimes try to avoid. So, as we are recording this podcast, we are in Courtney, our daughter, beautiful daughter Courtney's birthday week.
That's right.
So she would have been on August 18th. She would have been 31 years old.
31.
Yeah, we would have had 31.
31. It's a good thing we got married at 16.
Darn fine thing. I was 12, actually.
Darn fine thing.
So what we wanted to talk about a little bit while Maggie gives us her opinion in the background, we wanted to talk about how we mark anniversaries, right? So when you have lost someone, actually, I hate when people say I lost them. I know where Courtney is.
I know where they are. They're not really lost.
They're not lost. She's in heaven. I feel like she's in heaven. I don't think she had the capacity to sin as a profoundly disabled child.
Don't underestimate the court.
You think?
She had a mischievous streak.
I don't know.
Not sinful. She was
a spicy pepper.
Yes, thank you. That's an
She was a
excellent
spicy pepper.
Spicy little number, right? That's,
yeah. We used to call her pickle because she could be a sweet pickle or a sour pickle. But anyway, so she would be this week she would be 31. So
31.
Jerry and I were talking, and this has sort of been an evolution since her passing in 2014. So of course, the first year she passes away.
You don't even remember the first 6 months.
No.
You really don't, do you?
I remember one incident in February. She passed in December, and then I don't remember anything else till Easter.
Yeah.
I truly don't. I remember something in February and then Easter Vigil.
Yeah.
In April. Yeah. So it was hard. But that first year, it's all the first, right?
Right.
Everybody remembers. You get the cards, you get the texts, you get the
phone calls.
I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Everybody remembers. And then you get to the second year. What happens then?
Well, your family kind of remembers. maybe some of your friends.
Close friends, those that
Close
walked
friend.
with you.
And that knew her.
I knew her, right. And then you get to the third year.
It's just you.
And it's just your like it
Your
was
immediate
us and
family.
you, me, Jonathan, our best friends, Christina Marks, my mom.
Yep. Grandma Green.
Yeah, my friend Catherine. That was it.
Yeah, that was about it.
So that's the third year.
And you kind of wonder why. Why doesn't everybody remember that?
Yeah. Because
did they forget her already?
Exactly. Like we could never forget her. But our life has been changed dramatically, drastically, horrifically, traumatically, whatever LY word you want to use.
Are you working your way through the thesaurus
I am.
there?
It's a practice of adverbs.
Tragically.
And so, but everybody else, the world just keeps going. So we had to figure out, and I think it was on year 3 where we sort of began to talk with one another about what we wanted to do as a family, as a couple, as her parents on her birthday. Right? What
did we used to do on her birthday, honey?
Well, when Courtney was
tell
alive.
the folks, when Courtney was alive.
We would go over to Christine and Mark's. We always celebrate together, the two families. And especially after about the age of, she was 7 or 8 when we started doing that.
Right.
We would have Annie Merle's meatloaf, mashed potatoes and green beans. That was Courtney's favorite meal.
Yeah.
On the planet. I don't blame her. It's darn good cooking. What did your dad say? Them's good groceries.
Them's good groceries.
That's right.
Did we introduce the Silvas to meatloaf?
We did.
They're like,
well, not to meatloaf, to Annie Merle's meatloaf.
Merle's meatloaf, yeah.
And then we would have some form of chocolate cake. Usually I would make my chocolate heaven cake.
Or for Court, sometimes she got chocolate.
Chocolate pudding, yeah. We had chocolate cake.
We had chocolate cake. She had chocolate pudding, but there was chocolate.
There was always chocolate. And Courtney was very sensitive to sugar. So, she loved sweet things.
Sweet things did not love her.
No, they did not. And so they would usually bring on a seizure. So we had to be very, very careful that there was enough protein given that she could avoid at least a grand mal seizure. And she loved it. And so she got sweet things 3 times a year. Her birthday, Christmas, and Easter.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, if I only ate sweet things 3 times a year, I would look like Barbie. But alas.
You mean blonde and airheaded?
I'm not blonde. I am occasionally forgetful. But
I didn't say anything. I'm just sitting here. I didn't say anything. Well,
you identified Barbie as blonde and airheaded. So
that's what the movie.
Excuse me. She was an astronaut. She was a teacher. She was a veterinarian. She was lots of things. I'm not going to have
the Barbie discussion. I get too much hate mail.
Anyways, she loved sweet things. So we would gather and we would have this celebration.
Right.
She usually got a new audiobook because she loved audiobooks.
Wait, she liked British accents too. Do you think that was hereditary?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I think she, like her mother, just loved the British accent.
You could read the phone book to her with a British accent and she'd giggle and think it was hysterical.
I think it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then we would just, it was a pretty simple celebration, but that's what we did. And
simple is a relative term. Going anywhere with Courtney was a logistical exercise.
Well, that's why we were always at home. Right. It was pretty rare that we were out
we had to pack everybody up in the E350 urban assault vehicle.
Or wheelchair van. We called it Big Bertha. Anyway, so it's a pretty simple celebration. And Christmas Eve is always our big sort of moment. We go to midnight mass. Now, when Courtney was alive, we didn't do that. We went to Christmas Day mass.
Yeah, Courtney did not
She
do
did
midnight.
not do well at night. That's usually when many of her seizures would come.
To be honest, neither do we. But
no, we don't. But we still go to midnight mass and then we sleep. Anyways.
Yes.
Long story longer. So how, we started talking about year 3.
Yep.
And so that first year we went to the Silvas. We had her favorite meal, had the cake. 4th year did the same. 5th year, the dynamics were changing. Kids were going off to college and so forth. And it just became
was moving on for other
people. And it, I always to this day we still get texts from certain people and we get flowers from others, and it's still beautiful. They still remember our beautiful girl, and it means so much to us that she is remembered.
Right.
And it's really in the last couple of years, I would say the last 3 years, maybe 4 years, that like we have a regular thing that we do. So we go to her gravesite. First we go to mass, first thing. And and just kind of be with her because that's the closest place we can be to her because she's right behind the veil.
Mhm.
So we go to mass.
Right.
And then we usually go to breakfast and we have.
Courtney did like scrambled eggs.
She
too.
loves scrambled eggs. We usually, go to breakfast.
She loved biscuits and gravy.
She did love her biscuits and gravy.
She was daddy's girl.
She was daddy's girl, very much so. And then we go and we purchase flowers like pansies or Gerber daisies or whatever the flower is available. I think because it's her birthday, we usually get pansies to go into the fall. And we go to her grave and we give it the summertime scrub down because birds love her grave.
This is the collective we, right?
The collective we, excuse me, I scrub.
You do not dig in the dirt.
No, okay. So let's explain
it'll mess up
why.
my manicure.
Thank you. Anyways, moving on. So
short explanation to the point. It'll mess up your manicure. Got it.
Fine.
Just saying.
I pay good money
supervise.
to look this good. I supervise.
You supervise.
I supervise it. Planting. I space out the flowers and you just dig. You
Correct.
dig and you water.
You
but I
place
scrub the stone. Thank you very much.
You do
okay.
scrub the stone, yes.
You're making it like I don't do anything.
You don't dig in dirt. It's not,
you don't like me to dig in dirt.
It's
You're
not
like,
your jam.
That's not your jam, Mary. It's not what God made you to dig in dirt.
No.
Well, I'm not a very good gardener. Anyways, you keep interrupting me and then I get off topic and then I don't know what to say anymore.
We go to Courtney. We plant flowers.
We plant the flowers.
Clean her grave up because, yes, birds do love it. And, we usually plant flowers in the spring too, but by the fall, look a little scraggly.
Right. We plant them on our birthday in August and then we go back I go all the time. We visit her grave all the time, but we replant. We don't replant in the fall. We do a wreath at Christmas.
Well,
and then
August is pretty much fall. I mean, it gets there.
And then we do a replant
in the spring
at Easter, always on Good Friday.
What are those things? It's not the flowers.
Oh, we do ranunculus, or we do.
That's ranunculus.
We do Gerber daisies. Or we do whatever's
those little purple
impatience.
Things. Oh, impatience.
Yeah,
those little
we
purple
do those.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are pansies. We've done lavender before. She was allergic to lavender, so we kind of did lavender bushes for the first couple of years because she is no longer
don't have to worry about that anymore.
Anyway, so we go and we have this sort of ritual and we talk to her and we talk about her and we share stories and, we laugh and yes, there's tears and it's just kind of a beautiful moment for us as her parents.
Yes.
Is it a beautiful moment for you, Jer?
Once I clean up all the mess from planting the flowers and it all looks pretty, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we tell stories.
We do. And we sit there and we remember her.
Yep.
And
what's your favorite story?
What's my favorite story?
Your favorite Courtney story?
Oh gosh. Okay. So
there are so
I have
many.
so many. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'll go first then.
Okay.
Easy. So I'll probably take yours, but I don't care because I go first.
Mm-hmm.
The court monster. So when we went to mass, we took Courtney to mass every Sunday, and we had our spot there in the church. So we were on the right side of the church on the very end pew because it was right there by the door. So if she had a seizure during mass, we could get out because the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 times she did that at mass, people started like freaking out. And I think one of the ushers was about to call the fire department and an ambulance. I'm like, that would have been super awkward.
Oh, we've had the ambulance called at church before.
I know, which is super awkward. So I just it's fine.
Because she's usually done with the seizure by the time the ambulance gets there. Yeah. And then we're all just staring at each other and Courtney's looking at them and then she goes to sleep.
So, we finally got our spot and we got our rep. So the ushers knew not to freak out if we had to take her outside because she was having a seizure. Right. Thank you for your concern, but we got this. So we're at church. And now one of the things you have to understand about Courtney is she was not a fan of shoes.
No.
Which is weird because we did not get that trait from her mother.
No, that was not me. I love my shoes. I love all of them. The many
Courtney
pairs
Courtney, you had to put
Maggie would like to get in on this conversation.
You had to put secure shoes, we'll call them.
Right.
We still have one pair here. She loved her Chucks. Chucks, is that the technical word? So
you had to make sure there were laces or there was elastic that went around it or a strap.
So she had Chucks in like every girl color there was.
She had Chucks in 3 colors: yellow, pink, and orange.
Thank you. Anyway, I rest my case.
Those are the Courtney colors.
So this particular Sunday, we had on these little...
It's Maggie's ball. We're going to set that aside. Go ahead, Jared. Tell your story.
These little strappy shoes. So you'd put Courtney's feet in the little feet pads, and then there were
Of her
wheelchair, and then you had these Velcro straps. Now, Courtney, of course, would spend the entire Mass trying to get her feet out of these straps because we like to cross our legs.
She was quite the lady. She always crossed at the knee.
So, I mean, as soon as you put her in the wheelchair, started strapping her, and it's like, boom, the right leg is crossed over the left leg.
Yep.
And then we are complaining because we're not, anyway, the child knew how to express her opinions. Don't worry about that. So she was sitting there during Mass, and of course, she's on the end. I'm next to her. Mary's next to me, and I think Jonathan's next to her. And she's spinning the entire Mass, and I'm looking down, and she's trying to get this foot out.
She's like wiggling her foot.
You could see
back
it wiggling,
and
she's
forth.
doing,
She's trying to get it out of that
and she's
shoe.
just like,
out of that. She always sounded like Chewbacca.
Is that like Chewbacca or Frankenstein?
I don't know.
Or she'd go, Mwah. Anyway. Okay, so did we go up?
No. So Father is doing the homily.
Right. Father's doing the homily. So that's right.
And she finally gets
right. We're getting We're getting ready
out.
to go up to receive the Eucharist. So
no, it was before then.
No. We went up. Wait. No. I remember the timeline here. We went. No, it was before then. We were fixing. We were fixing to go up, and all of a sudden, she gets her foot out, and she just goes fling.
Okay, so what she did was
dramatic sound effect. Fling.
Her foot. She went to cross her legs again because that one leg was down, and as she brought her right leg up with some veracity, that shoe. You pressed the wrong mute button.
Oh, oops. Besides, it's velocity or ferocity, not velocity.
When Courtney crossed her leg, that shoe, it was a silver shoe with a strap.
Oh, it was very silver, sparkles and everything.
Went up and over her head, and behind us, several rows. And you heard this.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's about right. And Jerry and myself and Jonathan.
We're like this. Don't look down.
All look down.
Don't make eye contact. Don't look.
Because we knew it had hit somebody.
We're like, oh no, she hit somebody. Look
My
down.
face was as red as a tomato. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Jonathan leans over and he's like, Mom, I think it hit an old man. And I'm like, shh, we know nothing.
Don't say nothing.
See anything.
Don't look down. Don't make eye contact with anybody.
So then it comes time.
We go up
for communion. And so we go up to communion.
And there's Courtney's barefoot crossed, right? She's got a shoe.
She's got her tights on.
And then there's this barefoot.
One shoe is gone. She receives communion, praise Jesus. We come back to our spot. And we, again, bow our heads in prayer.
Don't look.
We're not making
Maybe
eye
just
contact.
Leave the shoe there.
And then what happened, Jerry?
So then the next row went up, and then the row behind that went up. Our daughter was nothing if not.
She had some strength.
Had some strength.
It went back about 3 rows.
So this little old man, did he go up and get?
He got communion.
He got communion, and then he came back, and we're just like,
and as he was walking by us,
like, oh gosh.
Well, we didn't see him.
I know.
He had tucked Courtney's shoe under his arm.
Right.
And he comes over in front of Courtney, and what does he do?
And he knelt down in front of her, and of course Courtney kind of sensed he was there, so she put her foot back out.
She put her foot out.
And he very gently put her shoe back on.
He kissed her foot. And then he put her shoe back on. And then he crossed her leg.
And she was happy as a clam.
She was happy as a clam. She was smiling. And he gave her a kiss on the head and just kept walking. And I was just like,
You're about to lose your lunch, weren't you?
I was just so moved, and I'm trying desperately not to cry, and you lost it. You totally.
I did not.
You did. You had leaky eyeballs. Oh,
well, I
yes,
didn't lose
you did.
It. I might have had.
You weren't weeping, but you were very emotional. It was very beautiful what he did. He saw our daughter. He respected her dignity, and it was just
and
beautiful.
he didn't look bruised or anything, so that was good too. And of course, Jonathan, that was the most quiet and still Jonathan had been in Mass in a long time. He just sat there, hands folded in his lap, looking down.
Like, get us out of
He's
here.
Like, get me out of here.
We've hurt people. Okay, so that's your favorite. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, okay, that's one of my favorites too.
I know, that's why I stole it.
That was
You could tell the story of Georgetown in the rain because
that's a good again it's with shoes. Okay.
It's with shoes. Now, granted, our daughter has a lot of shoe stories, so that does come straight from you.
It does. Mm-hmm. So it was pouring down rain. We're going to see her neurologist. My mom was with us. Courtney had rain boots on, and
what color were the rain boots, honey?
They were they had flowers and stuff on them.
Yeah, they were like green with like flowers all over them.
Yeah, they were really pretty.
Of course they were.
Your point?
I have no point.
The girl's got to look good.
She had an impressive shoe collection for somebody who hated shoes.
Well, and didn't walk.
True, too. Good point. Yes.
Anyway, so we're going into the office, and we get to the office. We're drenched. We look like drowned rats. We go through it was not an easy appointment. This was in the last year of her life. And so this was one of our last appointments with the neurologist before she went into hospice. And so, we went through all the things that we have to go through, and he gives us all the bad news. And we go back out to go to the car because there was no parking garage that could hold the wheelchair van because this was just a medical office. It wasn't the hospital. And so.
But you had the handicap placard, so you could park in the handicap spot, which is good because, by the way, just from a mechanical point of view, the van was like 13 feet tall.
Yeah.
So what was...
So it's pouring down rain, so we come out of the front of the building. And Courtney decides
I don't want no stinking boot, Mom.
She has had enough of this boot situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so she takes that. It's always the right foot. She takes that right foot and she throws it up, not to cross her leg, just to get the boot off. Right. And it goes into the middle of Georgetown Pike, which if you're anywhere near North Bethesda, Maryland, Georgetown Pike is like a 6-lane road.
Yep. In the rain.
In the
middle of the street.
And it goes in front of this metro bus that goes over the boot, like runs over the boot. And I'm just standing there and Courtney's laughing and she's like, that's what she sounded like. My mother was like in shock. She's like, what do we do? What do we do? I run out.
Into traffic
because those were very expensive boots. And I don't
think the bus actually hit it.
No, it did. It ran it over. I had to like punch the boot back out.
It's a very well constructed boot.
Well, it was Courtney got the Uggs. I got the Target fakes.
Fugs?
You know what the Fugs.
You got Fugs?
Right. So I punched that baby back out and I drained it of all the water, wiped it up. My mother is laughing. Courtney is laughing.
As I recall, your mother said you used a lot of sailor language that day.
I was like, listen up, girlfriend. You will not. Ba, 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 ba.
And she laughed.
And she just laughed at me. And I'm like, let's get to the car. I've had enough of this. That was like a double scoop mint chocolate chip with hot fudge and whipped cream kind of night. That's what that was.
Oh, yeah.
But
I heard the whole story. Right.
It was the Metro bus.
I come in and I come in from work and I hear, do you know what your daughter did today? And I go, oh.
Even with a special needs child, people, you still have those parenting moments where you're like, she's yours. That was all yours. Now
she's like, you are in charge of the daughter until bedtime.
That's correct. I am leaving to go upstairs to read a book and I'm not here.
And of course, Courtney's sitting in the kitchen all
just
cute
happy
and giggly. And you're like, Daddy's home.
Daddy's home because I can do anything because Daddy loves me.
Daddy loves me.
Now, our favorite story with Jonathan in regards to Courtney.
Oh, this is a Lenaburg family classic.
So Jonathan was, I think, 8 years old, 8 or 9, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And he was in karate. And so he had been karate chopping everything.
Where were we?
We were here.
What was it here? Okay.
Yeah, we were here in this house. And so he's karate chopping right and left, practicing all of his whatever karate chopping moves.
Practicing.
Right.
That's air quotes. He's just running around doing karate moves
Chopping
like
things.
he's Hong Kong Phooey. For anybody who remembers that.
He knocks over a lamp and it just shatters on the floor. And I'm in the kitchen.
And you heard it.
And I heard it. So I come out and I look at him and I'm like, Jonathan, is there something you'd like to tell me? And he says,
with a perfect deadpan face,
he says, Mom, I didn't do it. Courtney did it. And I'm like, what?
Our son was not a
Courtney
criminal
was
mastermind.
in her wheelchair.
With her feet
strapped down. I'm like, Courtney did it, huh? So I in my Catholic mama total, you're going to regret saying that voice, said to him, Courtney like destroyed the lamp. Oh my gosh, I think this is a miracle, Jonathan. We need to call Father Barquette. We need to call him and we need to let him know that a miracle has happened. And, Courtney, I think she can see, if she could see to hit the lamp. So I literally...
You were laying it on pretty thick.
I was just deadpan face. I go into the kitchen and he comes running after me. No, don't call.
You picked up the phone.
Because I did. I picked up the phone and I started dialing. Don't mess with the mama. Mm-mm. And he goes, I'm so sorry. I was karate chopping, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, now listen. I never ask you a question, son, that I don't usually know the answer to.
Parenting tip 101.
So if I'm going to ask you what happened to the lamp.
I already know you broke it, dude.
You better tell me the truth. So I don't even know what his punishment was. Probably cleaning it up and something else. I don't know.
I don't know. And then, okay, because we are Lenaburgs and only Lenaburgs can tell stories like this. I hope you weren't turning off my mic.
Mm-mm.
Okay, just checking. And then, because only Lenaburgs can tell stories about this, and we share everything and we tell the truth. The final Courtney story.
Oh, are you going to talk about?
Is the story of the hair.
Of the hair on. Okay.
Okay. So up. I get to start. Now, keep in mind, our daughter has been gone for 9 years. So
9 years.
One of the things that I have learned about grief, and one of the things that Jerry processes grief, is I remember funny stories about people.
Yeah.
Right. You after a while, you forget most of the bad times.
Mary does not.
Like the 25 emergency room visits.
Nope. Remember every single one of them.
No, I remember. I don't remember a lot of them.
No, because you were thrown out of the hospital.
I was thrown out of them.
Times.
That's right.
That's
I have actually been thrown out of some of the finest emergency rooms in the Northern Virginia area. I actually had a nurse who was standing in front of me as I'm standing there go, Mrs. Lenaburg, can you find something for your husband to do at home? He is intimidating the nurses. And I'm like, what?
Because you have your resting Jerry face.
Because I was just using my resting Jerry face on them.
Oh, on speed.
Because my daughter was cold and they weren't bringing a blanket fast enough. So I was standing there I was in the doorway of her room.
Do not mess
staring
with this man.
at the nurse's station. And the charge nurse came in and basically threw me out of the hospital.
Yeah, because you were being rude.
I was not rude. I was being
protective of your daughter, but they were going as fast as they could, and the emergency was overwhelmed that night. And okay. Anyways, I remember all the bad stuff and the good stuff. Jerry just likes to remember the good stuff, which is fine.
I remember the bad stuff too. I just don't remember it as much.
And
I don't tell stories about the bad stuff, only the funny stuff. So let's talk about the funny stuff. Okay, you ready? Okay.
So Courtney has passed away.
I'm sorry. I start. Courtney has passed away. So we decided, as part of her funeral arrangements, that we would do an old-fashioned Irish wake without the whiskey, which is very sad. But
it was in the church, dear. You can't have whiskey in
a minor detail that I'm sure Father Barquette would have let us slide if I'd asked. Anyway.
Nope, don't think so. Anyways.
That's because his name was Barquette and not O'Malley. If we had Father O'Malley or Father... anyway. So we were going to have overnight vigil.
Right.
So
there would be people with her praying by her casket all night long.
So we went to the funeral home that evening before they were going to bring the casket and the body over to the church.
To approve,
which I love this. We want you to approve the job we did on her. And I'm like, okay,
first of all, I'd never heard of that.
I hadn't either.
And secondly, I was like, job you did on her. Well, make sure the clothes are right. And
whatever.
she looks like what you want her to look like. I'm like, I want her to look like her.
So, okay. So we get to the funeral home and the guy, the director or guy, whatever, says, I'll just give you a couple of minutes if you want to be with her. So of course we go up. Now Jonathan wasn't here for this; it was just Mary.
No, he asked. We asked if he wanted to be with us, and he said no. I'll see her at the church.
Right.
You just
so
go.
we go up to the casket and we look down.
Well, it was emotional. Let's be real.
It was emotional.
So we had kind of a moment. We took each other's hand. We walked toward the casket. That we both were emotional.
And Mary looks down and says,
"What the hell did they do to her hair?"
That's right. That's what she says.
Sorry, I cursed people, but that's what I said.
She's like, "What is that?" And
what is that?
And I looked at it and I go,
What did they do?
What did they do?
Courtney had corkscrew curls, naturally curly hair, look like Shirley Temple corkscrew curls. And so when they asked us, when they were preparing the body, they were like, do you have a picture of her? So I gave them a picture of her with the corkscrew curly curls. And I'm like, all you need to do is wash her hair.
And just let it go.
Floof it and let it go. It'll do its own thing. Y'all, they blew dry her hair and straightened it.
How many times we used a blow dryer on Courtney when she was alive?
I think maybe 5.
Yeah, and only because it was super cold.
Or it's the winter time. Yeah, and I had a diffuser.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You about had a conniption. I think that's the proper technical term.
But I didn't know what to do. Had I been a little bit more informed, I would have gotten the guy and we would have sprayed her hair and let it dry on its own and do whatever. But I didn't know that. No. I was flustered. I was
So what
emotional.
Did you do, honey?
I climbed over the casket. Like I wasn't in the casket. I was heavily leaning over the casket and I was wetting my fingers with spit and wetting her hair to get it to curl.
That's right.
I got 2 curls, one on either side.
That's
and
right.
Then, and Jerry was standing by the door.
I'm standing guard.
Sure.
I'm standing guard. Okay, this is a true story. You cannot make this up. This only happens to us. Now, but wait.
It gets
There's
better.
More. Okay. So
then he comes in, he's like, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Let's just go. Let's go. So they transport
I said Courtney
her body.
Doesn't really care anymore.
No, she doesn't. She's got glorified hair. She's fine.
Do I get glorified hair too?
Yeah, you do.
Yay.
I don't know. This might be your glorified hair.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Anyway.
So we get to the church.
She's placed in front of the altar. There's the kneeler there, blah, 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 blah. The flowers start coming in, all of this stuff.
And then
the family arrives. So my nieces come in. Yeah. So at the time, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, 8 or 9 nieces. But they were in high school.
The 4 oldest.
They were
the 6 oldest.
Yeah, they were in high school all the way down. The ones involved were all the way down to like age 5 or 6.
Right.
So they come in, and one of my nieces, they go up to the casket, and they have the same exact reaction. I don't think I've ever heard her curse. And she was like, Aunt Mary, what did they do? And she goes, we've got this. And she runs out to the car.
Now, keep in mind, this is teenage girls.
She grabs her
curling
iron, plugs it in the bathroom.
Right.
And basically, once it was hot, she unplugged it, ran into the church. Now, mind you, nobody is there but the family right now. So
Which
it's
is
not
a darn fine thing because they think we were lunatics.
And she's curling her hair as much as we could. It didn't really take the curl very well. But anyways, and then, Father came and the deacon came and they were,
So I did like 3 of these shuttle trips. So I finally sent one of the boys out to the front of the church and said, if anybody else starts to come in,
you
let
tell
us know
so that we can stop this.
Because we do not want to be those people that we were.
But we were. And the other thing was the girls had decided that Courtney, she had a pair of high top sneakers that she had gotten for Christmas the year before. Mm-hmm. And they were glitter. They were
pink glitter.
No, they were blue glitter, all shades of blue because she was all dressed in blue for a lady.
They were like little disco balls on her feet.
And so the youngest ones, I remember it was Maya and Harleen, and they said, Aunt Mary, when she runs across heaven, we'll be able to see her.
Oh, yeah, you will with those shoes. For sure.
So sweet. And the girls, this was their first introduction to death as well. So it was beautiful and hard and funny and sweet and just so uniquely us. But every single person, there were hundreds and hundreds of people that came that night, all through the night. And every single person, the first thing they said to us was, what did they do to her hair? What happened to her curls?
Well, the women said that. The men did not.
No, the men just
did what men do.
Hugged and shook hands. And
that's right.
There's a lot of patting on the shoulders.
Yeah, it's a guy thing.
Yeah, it's a guy thing.
But that's what you just said there was actually a very good description of grief. It was sad. It was funny. It was all those words you just used.
Yeah, happy,
emotional.
I mean, her funeral was beautiful. I'll never forget my mom. My mom wanted to do the flowers. Now, mind you, her funeral was we've talked about this before, it was on Jerry's 50th birthday on New Year's Eve.
That's right. If anybody ever thinks you're having a bad birthday, trust me, I got you beat.
There you go.
Forever.
And my mom, the church still had the Christmas trees and all of that. My mom was like, this is the day she goes home to her beloved, and it should be like her wedding day. And she wasn't going to have a wedding day. Mm-hmm. And so I said, that's beautiful. Let's do that. So we did all white and very pale pink flowers. So it didn't compete with any poinsettias or anything that were already still in the church. And it was just the most beautiful. And I remember my mom wanted to do this, and I'm so glad she did. We had her wheelchair in front of the ambo. And it had cascading floral arrangement in it.
Big drapey thing.
Yeah, that's called cascading. Yes.
Oh, sorry. That was the technical term. Big drapey
And it was
thing.
Beautiful because she wasn't in it anymore. She didn't need it because she was running across the sky straight into the Lord's hands.
In those disco ball shoes.
That's right. So it was okay. So why do we share these things? Because grief matures over time. And this is something we've discovered. And I know I've recently written more about it in my social media posts where grief does not define our life. It has refined who we are. It makes us more sympathetic, more empathetic. It makes us aware of the hurt around us. Mm-hmm. We're able to speak into a situation or pray for people who are going through the same thing or walking the same path as we are. And whether that's a spouse or a parent or a sibling or a child, whatever it is, we understand what it is to grieve. And I mean, I know there will be tears. Her birthday for me is harder than the day she died. The day she died, I always think of a day of freedom. Mm-hmm. No more pain, no more sorrow. She just went home to the Lord. But her birthday, birthdays are they're a hopeful thing, right? They're a thing of the future. So it's harder for me because there's not a future, although her future is eternal.
She's doing just fine.
I think she's doing better than the rest of us.
Yeah, she's doing just fine.
So what is the whole point of sharing all of this? We have found that creating family rituals, creating a plan for what you're going to do that day is really helpful, wouldn't you say? In handling all of the emotions that come with that day.
The big feels.
Jerry has some big feels. This is his baby girl. I think the last time you cried after Courtney's funeral was pretty much on either her birthday or the day she died until Jude was born. And then the day our son, the day Jude was born, your grandson. Mm-hmm. You got a little weepy there.
A little bit.
Yep, because now a new story begins.
Yep.
So anyways, that's what we wanted to share with you today. And because it's fresh on our hearts and we hope it encourages you.
Right.
Wow, man of many, many, many words.
So, last story. Last story. So, I was at my 30.
Oh, I know what this is. Okay, 30. This goes under the category of what not to do.
Well, but hold on.
So understanding.
This is my 35th class reunion. So I'm at in Annapolis, under the tent where all of my classmates are, and we are, of course, telling stories. And they might have had a Guinness truck there that actually had a beer tap in the truck, which is the coolest thing ever.
Wow.
Anyway, yes, I
remember
that. So my roommate, when I was on the Enterprise, is actually married to one of my classmates. So they were there, And they were telling me this. They were telling, we were catching up, so they were telling us about their one of
They
their.
had friends.
They had a friend who'd had a teenage daughter die in a car crash.
Right.
So we were listening to them tell this story, and of course they knew about Courtney and everything. And my old roommate looked me dead in the eye, and he said, "Jared, do you ever get over it?" And I just kind of sat there for a minute. I go, I wanted to say, "Are you crazy?" But then I thought, no, he actually is asking. He wanted to know.
It was a legit question.
And I said, well, I actually had one of my profoundly wise moments. And I said, well, here's the thing. I'm sure that those parents are going through hell. I'll just say it, are going through hell because they had a daughter and then they didn't.
Right.
Right. I mean, their daughter went, I can't remember.
Their daughter was alive and then she wasn't.
Right.
Boom.
Boom. I said, we had the advantage of, we knew what was going to happen to Courtney. When we came home from the hospital the last time in September of 2014, the doctor basically said,
months,
months, don't bother bringing her back to the ER if she has a seizure, right? Which is a pretty definitive statement from your neurologist. When he says there's nothing else we can do, don't bother bringing her to the hospital.
At that point, it was more dangerous
for her,
for them to interfere with her blood pressure, give her excess medications.
To be in a hospital where they have sick people and germs.
Yeah, that too.
So I said we had time to prepare. So, yes, was it hard when our daughter died? Was it, did we grieve her death? Absolutely. It was devastating, but it wasn't a surprise. We had time to prepare. We had time to say goodbye.
And that was a gift.
And that was a gift
that not everybody gets.
That not everybody gets. Yeah. And I said, they will process it over time as, I didn't say as we have done because.
Well, no. And that's the big thing is that everybody's grief journey is unique to them.
Correct.
It's unique to your belief in God. It's unique to your family culture. It's unique to your, your identity. I mean, where you come from.
Everybody deals with that.
Everybody deals with it differently.
And that's okay. Right?
And the time frame is different. Like
Correct.
we're in a place now where, we can laugh and we can share and I can cry and laugh at the same time. It's pretty amazing. It's a gift.
Yes.
And it's okay. And I know that's not everybody's experience. So I just want to encourage y'all, remember them, remember them. And if you're a friend that's walking with someone who's been through this, that's the greatest gift you can give them is to remember.
Yep.
To remember. I think we're going to pass on the not so newlywed game because it just doesn't feel right or like it fits.
That's okay. We can do that today. So today we'll just go signing off.
No, okay. Don't do the salute thing.
Well, it doesn't really come across on a podcast, but for the YouTube.
Hold on, we're supposed to give them our phone number, which yet again we have not memorized. But
hold on,
y'all, we will get it together. And this podcast, Jer,
this is our
longest podcast ever. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. We'll have to give a warning in the show notes. This bad boy went a little bit longer than we anticipated.
Well, this is a topic that a lot of people have asked us about.
Yes, it's actually one of the top
I don't feel bad.
We get.
So our number is, if you want to call us, 571-354-0351. You can leave us a voicemail. You can send us a text. You can send us a DM, smoke screen, carrier pigeon, whatever works for you.
If there's a question you want to ask, if there's a comment you want to make, if there's a not so newlywed question you want us to ask, a subject you want us to talk about, please leave it on the line.
Okay.
And we will get to it in a future podcast.
Okay. So now we're going to sign off.
Good
night, America, and good luck. From the Mary and Jerry podcast. I'm Jerry.
I'm Mary.
And we're glad you're here.
To be married to you.
Yes, you are. You won the lottery, baby.
Until next time, friends.